Is SEO dead? It's a big question. A lot of marketers, a lot of web developers, web dev agencies, marketing adjacent people are concerned with SEO. It's not just the SEO experts that are concerned with it. And we hear this all the time. Is SEO dead? And a lot of it's brought on by AI. But I'm here today to tell you that AI is part of something. I'm not going to tell you if it's dead or not yet. It's part
You're
of
burying
something.
the lead. How dare you?
I'm burying it. But here's the thing. It is not the only thing that's happening / has been happening. And we're going to crack this wide open like this bubbly. If you're watching the video version, there's a bubbly on my screen
Are
right
we
now.
sponsored by Bubbly now all of a sudden?
We are not at all. However, we do have a couple sponsors coming up. But the point of the whole point is that we're going to be talking about SEO going into 2026. I think this is like a critical point. We've been hearing, is SEO dead? What's going on? SEO is dead. SEO is not dead. Are websites dead? No, websites are not dead. Oh, websites are definitely dead. Oh, but then what's going to train the AI bots? Oh, is AI really the problem, or is TikTok the issue? And blah, 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 blah. The list goes on and on. So we're going to crack this wide open. All things aside, we're going to talk about this a whole bunch in this episode. So if this sounds interesting to you and you want to support the show, you can go and check us out on that Patreon, leave a review or rating on your podcast app, join us in our Discord server, or share this with your friends. And if you want to help out not only yourself, but us as well, you can net yourself up to 20% off a Scrimba Pro plan. You can go on there and learn how to code with some pretty cool courses. And you can find that link in the show description and the show notes with full details in the show notes on htmlallthethings.com. And remember that we're powered by CodeRabbit. They give you the power of AI code reviews to help cut your code review time in half. Check out the link in the show notes and episode description to net yourself a 14-day free trial with no credit card needed and just a 2-click sign up with a GitHub or GitLab account. And without further ado, let's just jump in here. If you're on LinkedIn, you're going to see this all the time. Is SEO dead? SEO is not dead. That's the little... With LinkedIn, if you're familiar with it, you have 1 or 2 sentences that will appear below the fold, above the fold, above the read more, if you will. And you'll see this all the time. And this is everywhere. Like, you'll see similar things on X. You'll see similar videos on YouTube, I'm sure, things like this. And I want to go down memory lane to build up a bit of a rapport. This isn't like a lengthy thing. But the thing is, what we really need to zoom in on is what counts as search. What is search? And more specifically, it's late 2025 right now. So for context, we're going into 2026. It is November 26th, 2025. Late 2025, early 2026. What counts as search? What did count as search? SEO was trying to dominate Google. Really, what you were trying to do is you were trying to take your website, your web pages, your blog posts, all those things, and you were trying to get onto Google because it was the #1 search engine. And we'd optimize for getting our page or pages to page 1 of Google and position 1 on page 1. Eventually, we would try to get into snippets, as featured snippets and things like that started becoming more popular in search results, where Google would take a little section of the blog post to answer someone's search query. That we would strive for that top position. There's still the list of links below it, but we're all striving for this featured snippet at the top. And then we would also start doing, hey, there's that people also ask accordion where it lists 5, 10, whatever questions for applicable searches. And we would try to get in there. Oh, let's try to get in there too. Let's try to get in there too. And then eventually we would be listed in video. Now we can already see something that's, I think, starting to form here is that we wanted, like, Google's the #1 search engine. We want page 1. We want position 1. That's all we want back in the day. That's all we want. Now it's, hang on, there's featured snippets. There's this, there's that, there's this. Already our focus is being split. Now I mentioned video. YouTube is the #2 search engine in the world. It is Google owned, of course, or Alphabet owned, whatever. And of course, because it's Google / Alphabet owned, we started to see a close relationship between Google search results and the videos appearing on applicable searches. So then what do companies start doing? Companies start to try to make videos that appear at the top of search results on YouTube itself. And you want to appear as position 1 of the Google search results that include a video. There's a little video section of these Google search results, and you want position 1 of that little section. And then effectively, websites would try to have their website still appear at position 1, page 1. And sometimes then the companies would also make the video. So now they're striving for these snippets, these people also ask, but they're also striving for position 1, page 1. They're striving for position 1 of the video snippet. They're striving for position 1, page 1 of YouTube video search results. You see what's happening here. We're starting to grow. We're starting to spread. We're starting to be everywhere. So heading into 2026, Google search and YouTube search is still totally relevant. It's still number one. It's still number two, like I said earlier. But there's a lot more that's also relevant. Let's think about this. Where else do we search for things? Amazon is one really big place where we research. This dominates product search in a lot of categories. And we can actually see this just because Amazon's so popular, but also we have that shop app that searches all the Shopify stores and things like that. That's the power of multiple retailers across multiple industries trying to compete with just Amazon. Like Amazon is effectively a search engine. In fact, many times I'll think to myself, actually just earlier today, I'm looking for a golf push or pull cart, one that folds up because I have a sedan. So I need something that's really small. I'm looking for one. My friend had one that folded up perfectly and fit in my car. I'm looking for a similar one. Did I Google it? No. I went to Amazon and looked at it. And then I started looking at different product reviews and things like that. And we'll get into that in a second because Amazon dominates product search, but there's other places that people are getting things. TikTok is one. TikTok is no longer just doing some song and dance and goofy little things. There's a whole STEM feed where you're going to get educated. There's a whole discovery engine involved with this. And that does spread over to Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts for some things. But the thing is, people are searching TikTok. People are searching TikTok for solutions, and you can see the autofilled solutions. If you type in like how to CSS, it comes up as an autofill suggestion on TikTok.
TikTok not only has all that, I believe it's the #1 competitor to Amazon for product search.
It's starting to become, it's starting to become a serious, especially since we have not only, so for example, that golf cart thing, that, because I haven't searched for it in the past that I remember, it wouldn't show up in my like suggested feed on Amazon until I started searching for it. I searched for it today. I searched for it a couple weeks ago as well, but just researching it right now. And I've been searching Amazon for that, and now it's showing up in my feeds. But TikTok might be like, oh, Matt's a golfer, feed him this. And Amazon does that a little bit, but TikTok, to me anyway, is a king of discovery, and it's really good at knowing what videos that I want to see, what products I want, assuming I've looked at it on TikTok itself, of course. So now that's a whole thing.
I did some research into that recently, actually, and like apparently in China, TikTok isn't really a social media platform. It is a full-on shopping platform. Like people go on there, do their social media stuff, but one of the intentions and one of the main intentions on there is to shop while you're doing the social media stuff. So their like content is designed around selling different things in funny ways and interesting ways and STEM ways and stuff like that. So I found that interesting because I don't think we're there yet in the US and Canada. I think like your ranking is right. Like Amazon like it definitely dominates the product search, but as far as I understand it in Asia, it's the other way around where TikTok and social media dominate product search now, which is crazy.
Yeah, like I will say that just to be clear, like I haven't got numbers here or anything like that. Like I'm just looking this at like a practical angle, but you're absolutely right, Mike. And other like this, if you're listening to this in the future, even late 2026, maybe some of these things have flipped on their head where it's like Amazon is a very good search result, but someone else has come in, right? It's hard to dethrone the king or the queen, of course, but people want that piece of the pie, right? People want their piece. People want to take over control, things like that. And Gary Vee, actually, I think Mike was posted on TikTok or something about this thing you were talking about. And he posted about it. I'm going to say in a cryptic way, but I was half asleep. So it might've just been my brain not turned on, but I like turned it on. I was like, what the heck is this guy talking about? And this ended up being what he was talking about is like that. I think they call it like live shopping or something, something. I'm not super into e-commerce. So someone out there will maybe correct me in the comments or something. But yeah, so then we have TikTok. So TikTok is another place to search. Where else do we search? Reddit. We want trusted firsthand opinions. We want true pain points. We want social proofs where people are saying, this product sucks because here's the transcripts. Here's the emails I got from their technical support, their customer support. This sucks, things like that. We also, some people will use Bing in certain areas of the world. So we will use Bing, and Bing also got a bit of a boost in productivity when it was the first one to have the AI driven, hey, we'll search for this, we'll search for that, things like that, like the AI overviews effectively of what we're familiar with on Google. But Bing was the first one to have that with what is now Copilot. You have, of course, DuckDuckGo. There's a few others. And then now we're also starting to see AI assistants like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Gemini, those things. They're starting to have the AI overviews. They're starting to bring in sources, especially if you say, hey, do some deep research, give me some sources. You want to be on that list. So that's another place where people are searching as well. Like this person is searching for answers. They're searching for research. They're searching for sources, and this is some other place that you can show up on someone's search. The point of the matter is that there is no longer a single search engine. We're not going page one, position one of Google anymore. That's not what we're doing. We're all over the dang place. So there's effectively dozens, maybe even more, of these places where we search, like where people start to search. And we also have to think that the search results themselves are not just clear either. I keep mentioning position one, page one. That still exists, but now we also have AI overviews. That appears on position one, page one automatically. Do you want to be in there? Sure. But those similar or exactly the same results also appear in the Gemini app, right? The mobile app. If there was a desktop added app, it would appear there. ChatGPT has a desktop app. So now we're starting to get some searching going in these other apps. And we're also starting to see what I call Google cross search. And that's just my own little term. For example, you'll see TikTok videos suggested in Google search results. So you can like SEO, you can kind of SEO your TikTok. And then someone can be like, oh, there's a video on TikTok and I use TikTok. Let me click on that. And there's a bit of that trust there because maybe you trust TikTok, maybe you don't, whatever. And then you also start to see people resharing the same marketing videos or the same videos, let's say specifically vertical video to bring it into focus. And we see those same things shared across not only TikTok, but there's also Instagram Reels, there's YouTube Shorts. And each of those have their own kind of SEO searchability things where if I search up best CSS tutorial, maybe I appear on TikTok, I'll reshare that on YouTube Shorts. And let's say I don't do anything for that specific kind of search algorithm on YouTube, on the YouTube Shorts side of things, I may not appear, someone else may, even though I've reshared it. Search results are spread out and they're freaking everywhere. And I'm going to dive in now to what someone does to buy something, because I think this is really important and again, like an interesting model to follow.
Yeah, I feel like we're in a state of extraordinarily high complexity for marketers.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah, like I can't imagine being a marketing team right now and having to balance all of these things. Like I think managing just Google SEO on its own was already an extremely difficult task that like there were some talented marketers that could keep up with the changes because Google's constantly fighting. Now you're managing like 15 different algorithms. One thing I do want to point out is that this is actually great for the consumer because you just have way more sources. One source isn't polluted with content that's constantly being created to game the algorithm. Like when you have content providers that only have to game Google, it's a lot easier for them, not easy, but it's a lot easier for them to figure out a way to make these like SEO'd articles that are maybe shit, but are really good at ranking. Whereas now if they have to game 15 different algorithms, they can't really do that from a realistic point of view, and they just have to write good articles and hope. That's like where the positive side of this could be for the consumer side. But for a marketer and for a website developer and for a web agency, the picture you're painting right now, Matt, is scary. It it seems to be like very much in flux, where none of
Hmm.
this is solidified. Therefore, you can't really go deep into anything. Like how are you going to go deep into the ChatGPT SEO because GEO or whatever you call it? You can't. Same thing with everything else. Like we just talked about how TikTok is evolving into a shop platform. What are you supposed to do? Like how are you supposed to benefit that? And then also do they have, I don't know. It's just talking about it right now is giving me a little bit of anxiety. I can't imagine what like real marketing teams are starting to feel right now. The pressure.
The Neil Patel, actually, and I'll mention him later in the episode. Neil Patel has a couple of thoughts on this. I've only watched one or two of his videos on this specifically. So like there may be more, likely is. But he has some takes on that because he does acknowledge that, hey, we can't be like, all right, marketing teams, you used to do one platform, let's do 6 or 7 and do so effectively. And so we're also actually going to have a web news, which is going to air before this episode comes out. But we're going to have a web news about this of should you only be on one platform or should you be on multiple? And I'll link that in the show notes when it comes out, when this episode comes out, because there's power in mastering a platform, but the problem is that but people are not using a platform generally. They're using multiple platforms. And you also have a group, you have like a split in the market where you've split your buyer base, right? You've split your user bases, but now you also have different niches of customers. Some customers maybe just want basic news, for example. They may get all their news from WhatsApp, which sounds crazy, but WhatsApp communities, WhatsApp groups. I mean, if I open up WhatsApp on my phone right this second, open up WhatsApp and I go to, there's an updates button. It says find channels to follow. And there's a bunch of channels in here. There's football clubs in here, Toronto Social Network. There's just for laughs, gags. So there's like just for fun and things like that. The thing is that we saw this way back in the day with BBM. BBM had BBM channels. Clearly there's money in this and people are using it. There's a lot of subscribers to these channels just on WhatsApp. So how many people are just like fed up with searching on a million platforms and are just searching one? So now you have this split. Now I'm not saying en masse everyone's doing one or the other. I think most people are doing this, which is what I call a realistic late 2025 buying journey. So let's just say, for example, you want to buy something, doesn't matter what it is, you search on Amazon for the product, you find something you're interested in, you then skim the reviews. Maybe you skim the reviews of a couple products, but let's just say you chose one. You're like, all right, this one looks pretty good. Let's skim the reviews. So now you search Google, but you're not just searching Google. You search Google for a Reddit thread on the product because Reddit search is not very good in my experience. So you use Google to search Reddit. So you're not looking for a website, right? We're still not looking for a website. You search Google for a Reddit thread on the product. And then you're like, okay, the social proofs check out. There's a couple of good threads here. People are saying this is a good product. It arrived in a good packaging, the whole shebang. Now, maybe you want some deeper specs. You can find them maybe on Amazon, but now you might search for the actual official website. So you search the official website, you go to the features, the feature table. You'll go take a look at the features. You're starting to dive deep, right? Here's the thing. How many people did you lose at step 2? You're on step 3 and now we're just checking the website. So then, okay, cool. Maybe you did choose 2. Maybe there is a competing product that you're interested in. Now they might check the competitor site too. So you're gonna go check the competitor site. The point is we're on step 3 and 4, and now we're just checking official websites. And then you might go, okay, this checks out, that checks out, whatever. I'll continue. I'm gonna watch a TikTok now to see if anyone's using it. I want to see someone use it. I'm going to check a YouTube review. I want to see someone on YouTube do this, whether that's YouTube Shorts or YouTube proper, if you will, or just TikTok. Maybe you want to see like the POV of someone like using like a rake that you're trying to buy because you're trying to get rid of the leaves on your lawn, whatever. It really doesn't matter what product, right? Now you've done all these things, 4 or 5 steps. Now you can make the official purchase. Now you're going to go to Amazon. You're going to actually make that purchase. Likely you bought it, like I just said, from Amazon. You didn't buy it from the e-commerce option that will often be on the official website. So what this is indicative of is that people are no longer trying to trust a single source, especially when it's the product's official website, because that official website is biased. How many tech blogs have I gone through, and I'm sure you've gone through as well, Mike, where we start reading, and we're trying to learn something. We're researching something for a customer for building a feature out or something. And then you realize like it keeps talking about XYZ, whatever. XYZ, you should use XYZ, XYZ. What the hell is this? And I realize I'm on the XYZ blog. And it's, oh, great. So this is clearly a biased blog, and I'm out of here. Like that's my thought process, because I want to see real results. I don't want to see XYZ wrote a blog post, right, in order to get my SEO. So I showed up, and then I'm like, I guess that's what XYZ is the one. Here's the thing. It could still convince me to do my checking. I might go, you know what? This actually does sound pretty nice. But I'm not just going to trust this single source. Let me go check Reddit now. Let me go check Amazon if I can buy this product. Let me go check another software distributor if I do that. Like the point of the matter is we're in a multi-platform reality at this point. And what's going to happen if you aren't on one of those platforms? If someone's searching for like an honest to goodness Reddit review on something, especially if it's very expensive and you're not there, are you going to lose a sale? Quite possibly. If you're not on TikTok and no one's using your product, what if no one's on YouTube talking about it? Now, there's many products that people use every day that don't necessarily need reviews. Like maybe something as simple and as affordable as a rake might be okay with just the Amazon reviews and maybe a Reddit thread or your official website. But those are the decisions that need to be made by marketing departments. And if we notice, we're a far cry from position 1, page 1 on Google. We're a far cry from this. We're talking about 2, 3 platforms now. Like you have to be all over the place. If we really think of it, and I'm going to call it stealing, although it's not really stealing, but platforms are stealing traditional website traffic. X is being used, /Twitter is being used for breaking news. A lot of people use it for news, whether you like it or not. People are using TikTok for tutorials in the STEM section, for example. They're using Reddit for detailed firsthand opinions. They're using WhatsApp channels for community updates and even official sources, if it's an official channel, of which there are many. They're talking to people on Discord servers and in niche communities for things, right? This platform split, if you will, means that customers choose the app that they trust most if they really like TikTok for some reason, if they really Reddit for some reason, things like that. And then they go and they search it and they use it. And oftentimes they have multiple platforms that they trust. They know that they're like maybe they don't know that, but let's just say they trust Amazon with their credit card. They don't want to use a random e-commerce site. Fair enough. Okay, they'll make the purchase on Amazon. They don't trust the Amazon reviews because there's been some scuzzy stuff in the past with those. Okay, maybe we won't trust the reviews fully. We'll go and check them out elsewhere. The list goes on and on. Maybe they'll go into a Reddit community or a Discord community and chat with some people, especially if they're getting into a hobby where they're like, this is my first of 150 purchases potentially over the course of my life. If I'm going to get into this hobby, I better actually get off on the right foot here. And then they can have real conversations with people. And like somebody messaging you on Discord or having proper information on a proper Discord server really could be the thing that sells. Now, here's the thing. And this is the thing that sucks for marketers, which is what Mike was bringing up. I'm gonna equate this to gaming. So if you're a gamer, you can think of this as splitting the player base, and I'll explain that. Something that community tries to avoid these days is splitting the player base. For example, if you sell premium maps in Call of Duty, those maps will naturally have less players because it requires an optional purchase. But if you include the new maps for free, everyone has access to them and they can all talk about them, they'll make videos about them, all the rest of it. And you don't want to split your player base. You don't want to split your player base between the people who are playing just the free and people who are playing just the premium, or they just bought them so they're fresh and so now they've taken some players out of the free and they want to do that premium. You don't want to split the player base like that. A lot of places don't do that anymore. We used to do that in gaming and we don't really do that often any longer. But in SEO, we're doing this. Some people might be like I said, I just want to use WhatsApp. And if you're not on WhatsApp, you're not getting that sale. Now, how many people are choosing one platform and sticking with it? I can't give you that answer, but there's definitely people who they're too old for this nonsense and they choose one platform and they're just sticking with it. I'm going to go on Amazon. I'm going to search the reviews. And I'm just going to buy it. And maybe it's not even the person, it's the purchase. I want a golf shirt. It's not the biggest investment of my life. It's 30 to 40 bucks maybe. I'm going to go on Amazon, look for it, 30 bucks. It's on sale Black Friday right now as a recording this. Fantastic. Oh, it's got 1,500 reviews. It's got 4.5K cart size done. I'm not going to go search Reddit and stuff. But last year, I wanted to look up like an Android handheld. I got right into it. I actually posted a Reddit thread. I was talking to people. I was watching YouTube videos. I was getting into it because I was interested in it. And I didn't want to spend $200, $300, $400 unknowingly just like into the ether, getting into, I don't know if you call it a hobby, but getting into a hobby where I would potentially get off on the wrong foot and in a very expensive first look. I can't say this for some reason. And a very expensive first step. There we go. Holy God. But anyway, the point is that this is a nightmare for marketers. This is a crazy thing because we used to go after the click. This is what we used to do. We used to go after the click. We position one, page one. We want that click. And the problem is not only are you not just simply chasing that one click, like on the top of your Google search results, many Google search results now end in 0 clicks. Google, Bing, for example, they use AI assistants, and those AI assistants produce AI overviews or like an AI little snippet at the top. And that's right in the search interface. Users are getting rich snippets with like bullet points and breakdowns and headings and everything else. They're getting AI summaries of things. They're getting knowledge panels. They're getting quick answers. They're getting summaries of like even Reddit threads I've seen in some. They're getting reviews where you can be like, how good is this golf cart thing? And like an AI, if it's an applicable search, might come in and be like, users on Amazon said that it was the blah, blah. And that's not somebody clicking on your website anymore. Before it was like, hey, we got to get some testimonials for our website and we have to get this and that. Now it's, oh, great. If we haven't worked on getting good reviews on Amazon, meaning we have good shipping, we have good packaging, we ship on time and things like that to our Amazon SKU or our Amazon customers. Now people might review and say, man, this arrived all beat to crap and you don't answer your Amazon support page things and this is bad review. So when I say like work on your Amazon reviews, I'm not saying you like somehow make it scuzzy. You just have to have a good experience for the customer. Ultimately, the problem here is because we're no longer going after the click, we're seeing traffics to sites actually decrease. But here's the thing, this isn't all gloom and doom because visibility and trust signals are more important than ever. So let me just throw out an analogy for you, a trust analogy, if you will. Do you think that your customers would trust you if you did not have a website? A lot of people would say no. How about if you only have a website? A lot of people would say no. Now, again, it depends on the product and it depends on what you're selling, of course. A lot of places are just on Amazon, and I get it. Totally understand it. But if I was looking for those Android handhelds, gaming handhelds, and they did not have a website and they only had Amazon, I'd be like, because it's a bigger purchase. It's a different thing. So effectively, what do you want? You want your brand to appear in AI results. You want it to appear in Google results. Wherever the user is trying to reach for you, you want to be there. Think about back in the 90s when like everyone was just not searching, they were shopping in store. Everyone's going to the store to buy things. Obviously, the internet's not big, barely there. Okay. So that means that you want your product as a seller in the retail stores where you know your customers are going to be, and you want to be in a good position on the shelf. Effectively, you want to be where your customer is reaching for you. And if they reach up and they don't have it's a soap, I don't know, some sort of body wash, and they reach up and they don't your body wash isn't there, even if you're their preferred thing, they might go, hang on, let me read this. This one says it does the same thing. Into the cart it goes, you just lost the sales and your competitor just got one. And so SEO isn't dead. To answer the question, SEO is not dead. What we're seeing is click-based SEO, it's dying. But I will say this, clicks are still important because I mentioned the website. Like your website is a part of it. It's just that I guess you could almost say click-based only SEO is dying.
I like that take. Honestly, I think bringing it to the point where it's like, hey, it's not the most important thing anymore. If you're trying to build a brand and a website based on just click-based SEO, that's not the move right now. But if you're building that brand and you're taking into account what Matt's saying, where you are going to need to be in front of people in different places on the web, and click-based SEO is just one of those places, that kind of opens it up for you. Now, back to the same argument is that you're going to be stretched thin, right? Matt's going to get into where the search everywhere optimization in a second. There's a lot of places where you might need to be. Like I would say to not be overwhelmed, you probably need to pick your battles, at least to start. But I think to pick the battle is not one of them. It's like you might have to pick 2 or 3 at least now in days. Where before you could probably zero in on, hey, I need to be click-based. I need to be only TikTok. I need to be only Amazon. I think that would be difficult now in some cases. In other cases, like Matt's saying with the golf shirt or whatever, like that's a different conversation where if it's a low enough product that targeted at a specific audience, you could probably be pretty like zeroed in on like Amazon, for example. But if it's a general web product for the general consumer, you're getting to a point where you probably need to be in front of 3 or 4 different platforms and focus on 3 or 4 different platforms to really make a dent. And that might change people's or like even executions. Hey, solo developer might not be able to be in front of all these platforms without a team of marketers, or maybe there needs to be more products being built around how to like streamline the processes of being on all these platforms. Like I don't really know how you do that in some cases. Yes, you can make videos pretty generic now, but I don't know if that's really like a good thing. Yes, you can be on Reddit, but one of the things with Reddit is it has to be honest. And we're seeing already that a lot of companies are trying to bot it, where like they pay random bots to go in and answer questions about their product when it's asked, or like their category of products and suggest their product. And that's being like really obviously seen. And a lot of subreddits are actually banning a bunch of people for that. That's a constant battle now. So some of these are really not straightforward. Like, I don't know if we're going to have a good product that can do automations for a lot of this stuff, because it seems that we're starting to catch up. Like the regular consumers are starting to catch up and be like, these are all bots. We don't want to deal with this stuff. Like this crappy TikTok video that was obviously generated by AI. I don't want to deal with it. Like it's an interesting battle that's happening right now because I'm seeing a lot of products pop up. A lot of people, VC startups and stuff like that, are just trying to solve some of this problem, but their output is consistently like very obviously auto-generated. And
Yeah.
that maybe there's some success there. I don't know. I don't have the stats on it, but I'm just curious how that battle is going to go, I guess, moving into the future.
Here's the thing is there's always going to be the people that are vying to get into the scuzzy territory, right? And some people think that SEO is scuzzy, and I don't really think it is. I'm sure there's some things that have happened in SEO, but in general, it's you're just trying to compete, you're trying to get to the top. And I know that Google, at the end of the day, the argument is like that it's just supposed to like generically show you the best search results. But if there's an algorithm, there's a way to try to game it. And I'm not going to say that SEO is necessarily bad because what am I supposed to say to all my customers? Let's choose a moral high ground where you get 2 visitors a day. You know what I mean? Like that is something that is not going to help anyone, right? But you gaming the system somehow by lying is bad. That will get you caught now. Things like that. So I'll give an example. I was on TikTok, I don't know, maybe a few months ago, and I kept seeing these ads for the Tommy Vercetti shirt from Vice City. And it was cheaper than my golf shirts. And I was like, oh, that'd be funny to wear on the golf course one day, see if anyone notices. Like, whatever, it's just a joke. And I could use a golf shirt. Sure, why not? So I went and looked at it and I did my research. I clicked on the link and I looked at it and I was like, it's pretty good, but like, why isn't it listed anywhere else? Like, it's listed on this one random website. It's like, I don't know, a Shopify or something. And I looked around and then what did I find? People on Reddit were talking about how they ordered and they never got their order. They couldn't get in contact with anybody. This is the 3rd or 4th website that spun up about this. They got checked right away. Like social proof was checked. So here's the thing is if you're using real information about your product and you're like gaming that search algorithm to show up at the top, but you are actually being honest and someone shows up onto that website and then it actually lists the proper features. It really does list the right price and there's no hidden fees and things like that. Then that I think now is the time more than ever to have your website be the source of proper truth. And SEO, I want to be clear with something as well. SEO like tactics still work. There's still a market because you still want to be position 1, page 1, or scroll 1, I guess, because there's infinite scrolling in many cases now on Google. But the thing is, like, you want to still be at the top there. But that's, again, what I'm trying to drive home is that's one of several places that search is happening, one of several places where a trust check is really happening. So I was talking about Neil Patel, for example, and he said that SEO is not dead. He said it's like SEO is still around, but he calls it search everywhere optimization, where he says that now we have SEO surfaces anywhere a search bar is active virtually, right? So like your content needs to adapt to each platform, like TikTok for short form visual, Reddit for conversational and honest to goodness, like people using your product and talking about it. Google for long form and structured content, right? Where you have big charts comparing yourself to competitors and things like that, or big blog posts explaining why you're better or how the industry works and things like that. You have YouTube for a visual interface there. You can do some narrative stuff there. Amazon, you can go in there and you can say, hey, we're going to offer prime shipping. Excuse me. You can offer prime shipping. We're going to be a part of the Amazon sales, Black Friday sales and things like that. So you're taking advantage of the benefits of the platform. And that's what people are there for. Like I went on Amazon earlier to look at the Black Friday sales. That's what I did. And many people are going to do that. Also reviews, of course, we've mentioned that your reviews are huge. And then AI assistants, of course, they're starting to show things as they are. Yes, I know they hallucinate and mess up. I totally understand that. The thing is they pull from your website. And so this is why I think it's really important actually to have official websites right now. A lot of people right now at this point in the episode would probably say, you know what, websites are kind of garbage and we shouldn't worry about SEO and things. And I actually completely disagree with this. I think that it's no longer the primary thing, but SEO is still very difficult. And I think it honestly still needs to be done. Because here's the thing, despite the platforms being split across all these different things, your website is the only like Bible for truth. It is the only source of truth for your website, unless someone else, or for your product, unless like someone else takes your product and writes the reviews and things like this. You are the canonical source for accurate information. It starts with you, especially if it's a new product. You go to release something and it hasn't reached the masses and the community hasn't latched on and made reviews and done this and that and this and that. You are the canonical source for accurate information, and it better be freaking accurate and honest. That's really important. And you are the authority. AI models and, of course, search engines know that you are the authority on your own product. And so AI models will pull structured data like those tables and things that I mentioned, where you compare yourself to other products. They will pull that information from you. Little like featured snippets and things may come from you because you're the authority here, right? If people are using aggregator apps or RSS feed like aggregators and things like that, they're usually pulling on the official source. They're pulling from there. And yeah, they're circumventing your ads if you have ads on your website, which sucks, but you are still the source of truth there, right? You're the authoritative reference for product specs, features, pricing, customer service, all those things. Someone wants customer service, maybe they'll go to Amazon if they want to do a return, but if they have a legitimate question about your product, like it's not a complaint, it's a question, they're not going to go to Amazon and be like, Amazon has this, how does this thing work? They're going to go to the manufacturer and ask a question, and you are the central hub for support and policy information. And I've seen manufacturers or companies actually circumvent the policies of Amazon. I've had bad experiences with products purchased on Amazon, not due to Amazon's fault, just, hey, this product sucked. And then I've reached out and the company has been like, you know what? The return window for Amazon's like 30 days. Don't worry about it. We're just going to send you another one. Don't even send us the other one. That's them circumventing. That's good customer service. And now that partner is a bit of someone that I'll trust. I was trying to change my desktop setup years ago from having my monitors just on regular stands to monitor arms. And I was learning all about them. And people were like, you got to be careful because if the hydraulic lifts or whatever are bad, which I wasn't even aware they were hydraulic lifts, I'm brand new to it. They're like, they can shoot up in the air or they can fall to the ground and break your monitor and things. And you got to be really serious. And I asked a bunch of questions of a Chinese manufacturer because I went on Amazon, they had good reviews, this and that, but I had some questions, asked it. They were like, yep, we've tested with that monitor exactly. They sent me a picture. Here's a picture of it, things like that. And it's, oh, okay, I'm in. Like, I'm in now. And I have since looked for other monitor arms for a family member, and I looked up their name in Amazon. I didn't just look up monitor arms in Amazon. I went to that thing, was like, let's see if they have a good price, because now I trust them. And so this is why official websites matter, because I was talking to them on the official website. I was talking to them based upon the fact that they had a professional website. They were constantly releasing products. I saw they had a new product carousel. Did I buy something from the new product carousel that day? No. But I know they're active in the community. They sent me a trusted thing. They're on Amazon, so I don't have to give them my credit card directly. This is a huge thing, and that's all really modern SEO. And this is easier said than done, I will say. This is going to be a hard sell as a web dev agency to a client, but the market dictates the terms. And I think that at least for me, like I need to start selling this to my clients, because people are just like, I want to get to the number one on Google so that I could just live off my website. And we get those requests and it's like, good luck. Like, good luck before, but it was better luck before and now it's worse.
This is where I agree that websites still matter, but how much effort you put into the website, I think, has changed. And the big problem is that you just don't have enough resources for everything. So back to like prioritization of where you need to be in front of everyone. If you're sacrificing being in front of your potential customers on Amazon or on TikTok or on somewhere else or in AI for building out the website as a standalone product, that might not be the right move. You might need to pull back on the website, have something there as a bare bones thing that's authoritative to your brand, but put more of your money and focus into the other SEO pipelines, the other platforms. That's where a lot of the really hard decision making has started to come in. Like you said, like when you're selling as a web dev agency and you're given a budget, you're being like, hey, we need to build out this product. We have 15K to start from 0 to first phase. Where do you put that 15K? Is it 10K into the website and 5K into all the other marketing? Or is it a really generic template for 5K for the website and then 10K into building out products, SEO, blogs, social media marketing, strategies, videos, whatever? That's where it starts to become real. That's where this conversation starts to become really valid, because now we're not like centralized in, hey, we need this website and all of this stuff needs to be on the website because Google will SEO the shit out of it and will be on the one page of Google. This is where like strategy is starting to come into play. And I think people that are ahead of on that strategy and people that are willing to play this game a little bit and put less money into things that aren't as important are going to be the ones that win.
Yeah. I think another big thing to add to what you just said, Mike, is flexibility. Because before it was like, let's have this huge website that's 3,000 pages, which include many blog posts. So the same page templated over and over again. But let's have this huge, website. Let's build it out over 5-6 years. Let's have multiple content writers and this and that. And it's, yeah, I get it. Like even today, we have a website. I SEO it. I spend time on SEO because it is still important. However, the thing is that some of our best articles that happened in the last couple of years, we were number one search result on Copilot. When Copilot was just starting to come out, we were the number one referred source, on a particular search. I forget what it was now. It was like one of our CSS tutorials. And that article did fantastic until we got bumped because I wasn't doing GEO, or GEO really wasn't the thing back then. I just wrote an honest to goodness, here's my CSS tutorial. This is how you do something. And we showed up, right? And like that, we're not into this full time, but it's, if we were really into that and be like, hey, that article better get more traffic again. It's, hey, we should be GEOing now and see the flexibility. It's, let's try TikTok for a bit. Okay, we're on TikTok. We're doing stuff with it. Oh, you know what? That's not growing very quickly, but this GEO thing's going nuts. Let's go to GEO now. Let's start doing some GEO. Oh, you know what? Like our Reddit is dying. Why don't we like tell people, hey, talk about our products on Reddit, and we have some official mods on there for support or something, where they'll not AI comment back to you. They'll actually go in and be like, hey, like we're looking into this issue or whatever. We see this with game devs. We see this with hardware makers as well, where they'll come in and be like, hey, can you try this? Can you check this? Can you send me a picture? Let me get in contact with the tech team behind me and things like that. And it's, hey, there's a way to chat with somebody direct. Same with Discord. We see a similar experience there. And I think that being flexible and not being like, hey, we need to invest all this money and all this time into this big thing. Meanwhile, you could have 10x your traffic if you just targeted Google AI overviews maybe for your particular niche. This is definitely going to be brand. There's going to be a difference between different brands, different niches. And if you notice, like I've mentioned GEO a few times in this episode, but this is not a GEO episode, but I'm going to talk a little bit about GEO right now. The point, why I bring attention to this is because everyone thinks SEO is dead because of GEO. I think that this episode and my research, honestly, and it debunks this, at least for me, because me as someone who searches things, as do many other people, I don't just always search on ChatGPT. I don't just always search in one place. I search in many places. And so what about the AI stuff, right? The thing here is that AI is changing SEO a lot. Position 1, page 1, if applicable, is now an AI overview, period. It's not a featured snippet. It's not a people may ask, which never was first, but it's not a people may ask. It's not a news carousel, right? Certain searches are all different. Search results are ephemeral, so there's definitely some variance there. But if an AI overview comes up, in my experience, it is position 1, page 1, period. It shows up. Now, maybe I have some different, like who knows, like maybe with the searches I'm doing are different, and maybe you're like, hey, my AI overview showed up down further. I don't know for sure. And obviously Google's changing all the time. Point of the matter is, that's another thing we need to strive for. We've been striving for featured snippets. We've been striving for all these other things. And so think about this. If Google gives somebody an AI overview, they may not click on your website, right? If Perplexity answers your question without going to a website, your question has been answered. If ChatGPT and Gemini suggest something to you from their own knowledge base, do you need to go to the website? They're stealing clicks. Not only are they stealing clicks in that they're taking like your information and then they're saying, hey, my source is the HTML all the things website, and someone may click it. Someone's like reading the little summary and going, I don't need to go to the HTML all the things website. But then the AI itself is getting more intelligent and it's just suggesting things off the cuff, like from its own knowledge base. I'll give an example. I was a position 1, page 1 article for one of our recent CSS tutorials on disabling scrolling. Simple concept. If you're familiar with CSS, we were like position one, page one, and we're position one, page 1 to 5 right now. It goes up and down. Traffic started dropping dramatically on that page. I was like, what the heck happened? Go check. The SEO is still fine. Everything looks good. What happened? There was not an AI overview, and now there is. And so now people are probably opening the AI overview. It's not quoting us. It's just giving a tutorial in the AI overview, and then they're not clicking on my page. Now, here's the thing. That's still one of our top pages because we're still position one, page one in terms of the search results themselves. So we're still in that position one, page one of links anyway. We're still showing up there. So that's big. We're still getting hundreds of clicks. So that's big. But I have to acknowledge the fact that, hey, my clicks are going to be absorbed by these things. But here's the thing. GEO, right? AI assistants still require human written content, right? They cite those sources. Companies want to be cited because it boosts authority, right? People may click on the source material, like they may click on the source and then they end up on the HTML, the things website or wherever. It builds brand recognition where even if the person's not clicking on the citation, if HTML, the things keep showing up in these CSS AI overviews, people are going to be like, hey, this is an authoritative CSS teacher. That makes sense. Same with Amazon and things like that. If they keep showing up, they become an authority in e-commerce, which they already are, of course. And AI overviews can help push like purchasing decisions. So if you ask like in search, like how good is this SteelSeries mouse? If you have good Amazon reviews, good Reddit thread chatting about it, this and that, the AI overview might be like, users say this is a great mouse for a great price. It's often on sale on Black Friday, little Amazon thing there. You should check it out. It has these statistics, like it's wireless with 2.4 gigahertz latency, blah, 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 all these other things. And maybe it cites you. It cites the official SteelSeries website for those stats. The thing with GEO is that it like hungers for well-structured factual information. And that goes back to like your website being really important. But then also you being everywhere, because I mentioned Amazon or Reddit and all the rest of the things. Now I'm going to full disclaimer here. I'm not a GEO specialist. I did some basic research on this and I'm just learning this. And also, to be honest with you, I don't know if anyone's a GEO specialist because AI is changing at a massively rapid pace and is also new. So I don't know how you're a master of something that is just getting started, but I'm just starting to look up more of this stuff for my customers because a lot of my customers are still stuck on the SEO train, but I think they're going to start seeing, and certainly some have started seeing their numbers get stolen like I did with my CSS tutorial. And I want to start researching, and I'll share with you guys as well some GEO stuff once I actually have something I think worth sharing. But that's just the gist with SEO, is that it's pulling from all these sources. And so like you want to be one of those sources at the end of the day.
I have heard anecdotally, this is extremely anecdotal, that there have been cases of people being able to optimize for GEO or just get lucky. I think luck plays a big role in this right now, where they saw their traffic actually spike quite a bit with traffic coming from ChatGPT. So they were very low on traffic before all this, and then they were able to get hit, like the ChatGPT picked them up somehow. I don't know. Again, everything is evolving really quickly, and they were able to like significantly increase their traffic and profit. So again, super anecdotal. I haven't verified that. I've heard it from a couple different places, but essentially there is something there where I guess some people are going through ChatGPT and then clicking on the sources. And I've done that many times where I have,
I do that.
like where I see the source and I click on where it's coming from. And then I continue my research inside of the actual like first party source to see if there's any more details about whatever I'm looking for. So I can see that being a case for this. I don't know how mass popular that is. I feel like for some reason that a lot of people won't do that. But again, anecdotal evidence shows that there are some cases of that being pretty profitable and pretty good.
I think maybe what that is, a lot of it is, let's say you do have a huge website. Let's take IGN, for example. Like IGN is a massive blog, but they also have a big YouTube presence, but they also are on live streaming platforms. They also have videos on their website. They have apps, right? They're all over the place. And so this one review might get most of its traffic from ChatGPT because ChatGPT latches onto it because people are searching specific things that were mentioned in that review. And so that one review might be like, holy crap, Google is only giving us 50% of the traffic. 50% of it's coming from ChatGPT. That'd be crazy. But then overall, like on the website, maybe it's mostly Google because it's still the number one search engine, right? So things like that, like I could see how like you're saying, like certain companies with certain products are like experiencing that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's whether it's GEO'd, right? Or AI SEO'd, as some people call it, whether it's that or whether it's just luck and then the bot like latches onto it. And that drives home the point of like just being honest and having good credibility across multiple sources because you don't know what's going to grab on where. If you're a person that makes vertical video content, for example, you're probably uploading it to multiple things. Mike and I have uploaded something to TikTok. It'll get literally 10 views. I'll upload it to YouTube, 2,500. And it's just like a random clip. I didn't change literally anything. It was the same file, same title oftentimes. And I'm starting to tailor them now. But the thing is, sometimes when you're in a rush, you just upload it quickly. And TikTok will get like nothing, no likes, no nothing. And then you might think, Matt, maybe there's not web developers on there. Yeah, but what about the video that did a million hits on TikTok, is still growing, is like over 2 years old? It's just things get picked up by these algorithms for one reason or another. And honestly, we're just trying to maximize our exposure really to these things. And so I think I have a point here, which I think we've driven home to death. I'm just going to quickly touch on it, but I've written out a little bit of a thing on the show notes, which is a brand signals. A lot of people think that these are the new backlinks, and they are, but they're not a replacement for backlinks. So backlinks are like someone who points to your website, like links to your website. Backlinks are still important. They still do the exact same thing that they did in the past. They give you the same SEO benefits. They give you authority, right? They help raise your domain authority and things like that, which helps you get into more trusted places, yada, yada. The list goes on and on. The thing is, though, is that brand signals are also really important. So something like if someone does a marketing blast where you're on YouTube watching a video and you hear about, let's say, Squarespace, and so, okay, Squarespace. And then you're on TikTok and you see a Squarespace ads. Oh, okay. Then you're on YouTube Shorts and you see somebody using that just needs a website and they just so happen to be using Squarespace. Okay, cool. Then you see someone on Instagram Reels that's a Squarespace ambassador, if that's a thing, Squarespace ambassador, and they're talking about it. Oh, all right. Then you look into creating a website just on Google and it shows up in the AI overview that Squarespace is a great place to do that. That's a brand signal. That's a place where you're getting authority because oh, I saw them here, I saw them there, I heard them from an influencer, I heard them in a podcast, I saw them in a video, all these things. Now you have that. Now that's some authority. And I think we've been building to that this whole time. And so what we call those is brand signals. And yes, they are quote unquote the new backlinks. I've heard them called that, the new backlinks. But I want to be clear, backlinks, if you're trying to get your SEO on your website, your traditional SEO running, you still need backlinks. They still do the same thing. It's just how much work are you going to put into getting backlinks when you need to be on multiple platforms? Who knows? Just an FYI, because I know that some people are like, just do that. It'll be great. So hang on. Like you still want your source of truth to be your website, and you still need backlinks, and you still need to do the traditional SEOs things. So that's the episode, really. SEO is not dead. I got a little bit more in the show notes, just outlining SEO is not dead. SEO is now multi-platform. It's a trust and brand authority. You're making multiple forms of content. You're worried about visibility. You're not worried so much about clicks, but clicks is a part of it, of course. And it's probably going to be a marketer's nightmare. But Neil Patel, I only watched one or two videos, like I said, and he had some practical advice saying, hey, just target a few and things like that. So I'll link to his one video that I watched for sure, because that one stands out in my head. I'll link to the one video that I watched in the show notes, and you can check that out. And of course, check out his content because he has a bunch of stuff about this. And that's it for me. I've spoken about SEO in 2026. Is SEO dead? I think to death at this point.
Absolutely. I think you nailed it. We're in a spot where we're at I don't know if it's a crossroads or just flux. Again, everything is in flux. I expect more of these types of episodes in the future where stuff will start to solidify a little bit and calm down, or will constantly remain in this kind of cluster of unknown, and only the really talented marketing people will be able to navigate that. So it's probably maybe a good field to get into. I don't know. But yeah, it's good stuff. Excited to dive deeper into GEO and how it impacts SEO in the future as well, because I feel like that's going to become bigger and more important. If the clicks start to fall, then how else are we going to replace that kind of stuff?
Correct. And actually, I just want to mention that again, is that's why I didn't want to make this a GEO episode. Originally, when I was first thinking the concept, like this is a GEO episode. First of all, I'm going to have to do a bunch of research because I've been doing SEO for years. I've been just touching on GEO. And the thing is that Even just looking at my own search history, and I'm sure your search history, Mike, if you're like, hey, I want to go buy X, like I want to buy a golf cart, whatever. It's like, where do I start? I don't go to ChatGPT and be like, yo, give me the best golf cart. But I will say this is we use for spring cleaning, we'll use a steamer. Our steamer broke. I started looking. The landscape is complex. I was like, uh-oh. I go to ChatGPT. I'm like, I need a steamer. This is what the old one did. This is what I'd like it to do. What's the best one? I'm not in a commercial setting. I'm in a house. I'm just doing some spring cleaning. So I don't need a tank the size of 3 people. And it goes, all right, this is what you're looking for. And I bought it and it's great. So, and it was on Amazon. I saw it in my original search. The information was overwhelming. So what did I do? I went to the information processor king, which is right now ChatGPT, or at least at the time. It told me to buy that. I was like, oh, I go look. Reddit said, yeah. Amazon review said, yeah. ChatGPT said, yeah. So I was like, all right. I never went to their official website.
That's the thing.
So GEO absolutely helps. Like it's totally a thing.
Just part of the equation right now.
Correct. It's just another one of those variables in the equation. Absolutely. But yeah, that's it. Thank you for listening. My Notion froze, and so I can't bring up the Patreon subscribers. So Mike, why don't you entertain the people while I get Notion to wake up?
Yeah. This is going to be posted on YouTube, so you can check us out. I'm trying to fix my camera setup a little bit. So
Looks good. I think it looks good.
yeah, I think it's looking a little bit better. Obviously, this is a virtual background. I don't want to like fake like I'm in this cool podcast studio. But yeah, I'm trying to get it a little bit more aligned, get a little bit better lighting. Let us know what you think. And hopefully we'll start using video a little bit more. You might see some new videos from Matt coming up on the YouTube channel as well, which is exciting. Yeah, if you want to check us out on YouTube, it's HTML All Things on YouTube.
And I have been, although piecemeal because I have to do it after, but I have been uploading video versions of these if we have them to YouTube, to Spotify as well. Right. That's not a 100% chance. Like sometimes I just don't have the time. But they're on YouTube, of course. But if you're like, hey, I like to be on Spotify, a lot of videos are starting to go up there as well. So you'll generally get a video version wherever applicable as well. But thanks for covering there, Mike. Anyway, so that's the episode. That is it. And if you want to support episodes like this, you can do so by going to Patreon. That's patreon.com/HTML, all the things. Check out the tiers. Give that a go. Many thanks to our $3 tier patrons. Tim from the Web Hacker on thewebhacker.com. Jason from Geek Life Radio via geekliferadio.com. Garrett Segal, Level Up Financial Planning via www.levelupfinancialplanning.com. Magnus from YesWeb via yesweb.se. Syntaxify from the HTML All the Things Discord server. And Stacy Mosler from the website swoonworthydesigns.com. And remember that if you want to learn how to code, you can do so on Scrimba using their interactive media player code editor, where you can actually pause what the instructor is doing, play with the code live, and you can even do back-end courses now. So go check it out. Some free courses, some paid courses. And if you want to get into their paid courses, you can get up to 20% off a Scrimba Pro plan. You can find that link in the show description and in the show notes with full details on the show notes on htmlallthethings.com. And remember that we are powered by CodeRabbit. They give you the power of AI code reviews to help cut your code review time in half. Check out the link in the show notes and episode description to net yourself a 14-day free trial with no credit card needed and just a 2-click sign up with a GitHub or GitLab account. And last but not least, we'll give a shout out to Michael LaRocca, contributing author on HTMLallthethings.com. Michael is the author of Self-Taught the X Generation blog at selftaughttxg.com. Feel free to leave a comment or review on the platform you're listening to this on, and we're signing off.
Bye.
Goodbye.